Hola, buen dia. I don't normally make these kind of videos, but I really feel the urgency on this one. I had a couple of dreams last night, and so I think they're pertinent, and kind of I feel like I need to share them. The first one was for me. I believe it's a warning for everybody, but it was for me. And I was hanging out, not like doing drugs or anything, but just maybe not focused correctly. And I was in an area that had bad phone reception, and all of a sudden the network started to work, and I got all these frantic texts from the booking manager, or I guess the booking manager at the bar, or whatever the venue was, and it was 1:41, and we're supposed to be on stage starting to play at 2, and I wasn't there yet. And I'd forgotten that I was supposed to be on stage or whatever. I don't remember, but it wasn't too late, but it was like, you gotta go now. You have to get ready to go now. And then the second dream involved my friend Denver. I'm only bringing it up because he's a friend of mine, and it's not necessarily pertinent to the dream, but it was other people around, but he was the only one I knew, and we were kind of hanging out in a series of, like a train that had 2 or 3 stories. The train had been converted into a living area of some kind, like a house, and some of it was 2 to 3 stories tall, and there was an open area at one of the cars, and on the other side was a couch with extremely soft cushions, the kind of cushions that are so comfortable they're uncomfortable, and the couch that swallows you, kind of. And Denver had done a lot of work on it. I think it was his place, or he had something to do with it. And it was kind of ratty, and they had fixed it up, and it was nice now, or nicer, and he had put plexiglass as a floor across from where we were standing to the couch, and the couch was the platform on which the floor was standing, and it wasn't like attached, it was just kind of sitting on the cushions, and the cushions were super soft and very mushy, and not necessarily, it was not a stable foundation, and the floor was clear, and it was so clear that you couldn't actually see it unless there was light reflecting off of it. So I refused to step out onto it, and Denver has those reservations, and he went out there. He wasn't jumping up and down and acting stupid, but he was walking on this clear, transparent floor. And then the dream ended. And then there was a third warning that I'm not sure that's really bears repeating online, but it does fit in with Matthew 25 very, very closely. So I'm just going to read Matthew 25. I'm not going to read the Spanish because it'll just take forever. It's too hard. It'll take half the video. But it's the parable of the 10 virgins. So this kind of sense of, because in my view, my opinion, at this time of life, there are things that require attention, things that you need to do, things that you're working toward or working on, whatever they may or may not be, whatever it is. In my opinion, normal life is now the contingency plan, and we are running out of time. And normal life, whatever your plans are, any job-related stuff, school-related stuff, career-related stuff, family is important, obviously, but you're thinking about, you're in a relationship and you're taking it seriously and you're moving forward. Okay, these things are natural. I think all that is Plan B. And Plan A is now, it might happen, we might have time. I'm getting kind of 2 mixed messages. It just means that I don't understand. It doesn't mean that I'm being confused on purpose. It just means that I don't have the answer yet. But it's either do stuff in this world as we're working on now, and that remains to be seen how that's going to play out and how long it's going to take and if it's going to do this or that, or get ready to go home tomorrow. And according to the dream, the first dream I had, it was 19 minutes to showtime. So I don't know what that means, if that number is meaningful. I remember it was 1:41 on my clock when I got all these urgent texts, and I was supposed to be on stage at 2. So I don't know what that means, if anything. But the point being definitely that time is short. You got 19 minutes to get on stage, and you're not even in like the neighborhood of the show. You know what I mean? You have to leave now. So you might have a show, but you've got to get on it now. And the show, of course, is Matthew 25, starting in verse 1, I think, to 13. Yeah. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. I've never seen any more urgency in Christian circles about the last days, and that this is, I believe that we're post-political. I believe the world is post-political, and to get hung up one way or the other in the political realm is to get stuck in a eddy and be circling around like a twig in a whirlpool on the side and not moving downstream or upstream or whatever. You're not moving. You're stuck. But I don't think politics are important anymore. And the cry was made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. You got 19 minutes of showtime. Get ready. There's no more time to play games. You know what I mean? Might not even be any more time to play shows. So, take it seriously. Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. Verse 8, And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. So the foolish virgins were not prepared. They were focused on the world. They were lukewarm. They got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The wise virgins were waiting for the bridegroom, and they were prepared for that. And I think that's the warning for me. And I've seen it all over YouTube, and I'm starting to get it now myself. And this channel was not designed. I didn't start this channel for, gospel or any reason. I mean, I've been signing up for these online platforms since the late 90s, so I've kind of got a different perspective of what they are, and as a result, I don't care about them that much, because they're all, this one is, whatever, who cares? I don't care about this stuff. It's YouTube. It's a consignment shelf in a thrift store, okay? What's important, obviously, we're supposed to revere the provider of the bandwidth. The shelf space is more important than what's on the shelf. That's what it is, so it is what it is. That's okay. So, let's get on here. Yeah, so the wise are saying we don't have enough to share, so you got to go get your own. Verse 10. While they went out to buy, the bridegroom came. While they were out there preparing at the last minute, too late, the rapture happened. And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. The door was shut, like the door here. It's kind of scary, man. Afterward also came the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Verse 13. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. So that's a warning for me. It's a warning for my friend Denver, I believe, and other people. Though specifically, I'm not sure that anybody else needs to be named. I'm not sure about that, so I'm going to say no. But we'll talk about that later. God willing. But this is it, man. I mean, this is it. Okay? It's great. If we get to play some shows, if we get to, whatever. But it's all about God. Okay, so Johnny Cash said, I am not a Christian artist, I'm an artist who is a Christian. This channel was just kind of like, you just have to have a YouTube channel, and, I recently reinstated my Facebook, which I've been deleting people off of for years, because I just don't really, I don't respect everybody's all like, oh, I got 1,000 followers. I know guys who've got, it doesn't matter. They're still playing for tips on the sidewalk. You can't achieve household name independence on these things. And now we've got a culture of influencers. These words should be red flags. I'm serious. They really should. Influencers, creators. Creators? Really? You're a creator because you uploaded a cat video? Because you actually have to hit a button that says create to upload a cat video. So clearly, the point being is not to malign anybody personally, but to say that a culture in which the ego of the person making the content is more important than the content, the creator is what's important. Whereas an artist who sees himself as a car mechanic or somebody who is literally working on different kinds of cars and whose front yard / mind is littered with the disembodied chassis and engine parts and all kinds of things, and he's putting together as a working class thing. It's not a creator, he's not a creator, he's an artist, like a car mechanic or a plumber or an electrician or somebody who builds houses or makes food, cook, anything, or teaches. Teaching is a hard job. I have a lot of respect for people who can teach. That's a very hard job. It's just a job. It's not like, there's nothing more or less important about a song or a painting than there is about a birthday cake or the Mona Lisa. Well, I guess the Mona Lisa is a painting. But or somebody who changes your catalytic converter or whatever, who works on the water pump, the guy who changes the water pump. I think the guy who invented indoor plumbing has done more for humanity than Michelangelo could dream of doing. But if you're a creator now, and what you're creating isn't art, but content, which is a generic word that can apply to literally anything. The only place that it's really used, I think, in a normal way would be like, say, the book's table of contents, and it just kind of tells you what it is. This is what the book contains. It's really kind of a generic, cheap, valueless kind of word, don't you think? You know what I mean? Because you can go to a high school cafeteria, and even though they actually have content on the menu, they call it pizza, they call it hamburgers, they call it macaroni and cheese, they don't call it content. Even postmodern art galleries don't actually, they're content galleries, but they still call themselves art galleries, even if what they're doing is artless. So even the content, even the normal, you don't see content sandwiches on menus, but everybody's creating content, which means they're creating styrofoam packing peanuts for the culture that is about to be shipped to hell. And please, okay? So seriously, it's not a joke. Take it seriously. Thanks for listening. Vaya con Dios. And Matthew 25. Get ready. I'm talking to myself, okay? It's more important than anything. Everything else is tied for last. Everything at this point. I have to make sure. And I hope you're sure too. Thank you. Adios.